Dr. Nicholas is ridiculous. My name is AJ, and I hate tests. Tests are no fun at all. If you ask me, we should take all the tests in the world and throw them into a giant garbage can. A giant garbage can? Nobody has that. No, I take that back. If you ask me, we should throw all the tests into a giant paper shredder. Shredding paper is cool. Sometimes my dad let me shred papers from home. I wish I could shred stuff all day long. Especially tests. Shredding everything. Everything is being shredded. At school, the other day, we were minding our own business when our teacher, Mr. Granite, said the most horrible thing in the history of the world. Clear off your desks. It's time for a test.
No!
Shouted Michael, who never ties his shoes. I didn't study for a test, shouted Ryan, who will eat stuff, even stuff that isn't food. That's not fair, said Alexia, this girl who rides a skateboard all the time. You didn't tell us we were gonna have a test, shouted Neil, who we called a nude kid even though he wears clothes. Everybody was freaking out. It was just like we heard the meteor was about to destroy the Earth. Hey, if that happened, we wouldn't need to take any more tests. Well, almost everyone. I love tests, said Andrea Young, the most annoying kid with curly brown hair. The only tests I like are big maths. I just don't like doing it on the computer. It just shows the wrong thing. But at least you don't have to mark your own work. Me too, said her crybaby friend Emily, who agrees with everything Andrea says. Tests are fun! Those two probably study for tests when they could be watching TV or playing video games. What is the problem? I only study for tests on one day of every week. Relax, said Mr. Granny. Every student in the state is taking this test today. You don't have to study for it. The Board of Education just wants to find out how much you know. I'm bored of education. The Board of Education. I'm bored of education. Board of Education. Mr. Granite walks around the room and puts a sheet of paper in each of our desks, face down. Do you have a number 2 pencil? You started giggling because Mr. Granite says number 2. Everyone knows what number 2 means. And it doesn't have anything to do with pencils. Number 2 is poo-poo. They should really use a different number for pencils so the kids wouldn't confuse them with the other number 2. And also, don't use the number 1 either, because it means poopy. Take your time, Mr. Granite tells us. These are questions every American should be able to answer. In fact, many of these questions are given to people who want to become citizens of our countries. What if I don't know the answers? Don't worry, AJ, said Mr. Granite. The test will be a piece of cake. It didn't look like a piece of cake to me. It looked like a piece of paper. What did cake have to do with taking a test anyway? Hey, maybe we're going to get cake after we finish the test. And I say go. Turn over your test sheet, said Mr. Granite. Ready, set, go! I turned over my test sheet and looked at the question. There were 14 of them. The top line said we had to fill in the blanks. I grabbed my pencil. Who's the first president? Well, that was easy. I wrote down the answer. Abraham Lincoln. Next. Actually, it was George Washington. I'm not even an American. I'm British, just to be clear. But I just love history. History about the whole world. What is the 4th of July? Any dumb head knows that. I figured that to be a trick question like, what color is the White House? I wrote down the answer. It's the 4th day in July. Hey, this test wasn't going to be so hard after all. When was the Declaration of Independence? I had to think about this one for a minute. I saw my mom sign contracts and stuff at home. I wrote at the bottom. At the bottom? Of course. He means where? I don't know. Probably in a government or something. Can you name 13 original colonies? That was simple. I wrote, yes I can. When tests say that, you're supposed to name 13 original colonies. What are the 3 branches of our government? I wasn't sure about this one. Mr. Granite had once told us about 3 somethings. I remembered them, so I wrote them down. The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. I don't know what that is, but I know it's wrong. Where does freedom of speech come from? Any dumbhead wrote that. I wrote your mouth. He's gonna fail. He's already failing, and we're only halfway through the test. Come on, AJ. Name one benefit of being a citizen in the United States. There are a lot of good things about our country, but there was only room for one answer, so I wrote candy. Any place has candy. Britain has candy. Everywhere has candy. Everywhere in the whole entire world has candy. Where there's people, there's candy. Who did we fight in the Revolutionary War? I have no idea who we fought in the Revolutionary War. England. I know history. I know the answer is England. AJ, it's England. I looked around to see a copy the answer from someone else. The Miss Know-it-all was sitting in front of me, and she knows everything. No one knows everything. She just knows a lot of things like me. I don't know everything, but I know a lot of things. Who did we fight in the Revolutionary War? I'm not telling, Andrew whispered back. That would be cheating, Arlo. She calls me by my real name because she knows I don't like it. I leaned over to Ryan, who was sitting next to me. Psst. Who did we fight in the Revolutionary War? The Galactic Empire. Star Wars now. They're talking about Star Wars now? What? This is history, not Star Wars. Not Star Wars fan questions or whatever. Ryan just knows everything there is to know about Star Wars, so I had to be right. I wrote it down. The Galactic Empire. No talking, Mr. Granite said. Who becomes president if the United States if the president should die? Easy. The vice president. Easy. I wrote Chuck Norris. What? Who makes the laws in the United States? Again, I wrote Chuck Norris. Who said, give me liberty or give me death? I leaned over to Alexia. Who said, give me liberty or give me death? Henry. Alexa whispered. Henry who? Patrick. Ali whispered. Well, which is it? Henry or Patrick? Both. She whispered. No talking, please. I wrote Henry and Patrick. What are the duties of Congress? I giggled because duties sounds like duties. We're not supposed to be talking about that in school. All I could think about was a bunch of politicians sitting on toilet bowls. I wasn't sure what to write, so I put down number 2. The duties of Congress, not duties on your butt. Like things they have to do. 13. Who invented the light bulb? I had no idea. Psst. I whispered to Michael. Who's sitting behind me? Who invented the light bulb? Bob Light Bulb. He stood back. Bob Light Bulb. I never heard of anyone named Bob Light Bulb. Michael must be yanking my chain. Well, I think it was Thomas Jefferson, or one of the American presidents. I just don't remember. I know those stuff named after the people who invented it, like McDonald's, and that vacuum cleaner named after President Hoover. President Hoover? Who's that? Maybe Michael's right. I wrote Bob Light Bulb. Who helped the Pilgrims when they came to America? When the Pilgrims came to America, they probably had to chop down trees, build their own houses, and work on all kinds of do-it-yourself projects like that. So there could only be one answer. I wrote down Home Depot. The answer is Native Americans. Finally, the dumb test was finished. Mr. Grant came around collecting all our papers. Now that wasn't so bad, was it? It was a piece of cake, Andrea announced. Why is everyone talking about cake? Am I getting a jar full of cake from Andrea's head? If a jar full of cake falls on my head, I would just devour it. So, he wants a lot of trucks full of stuff to fall on her head. But cake is not the best one. I would just devour it. I would say, thank you. Hey, where's Dr. Nicholas? I thought this book was supposed to be about Dr. Nicholas. I want my money back. He wants his money back. After a few days, we forgot all about the dumb test. Life went on. Andrew was annoying, as usual. I had a PB football game and my team won. Ryan had his birthday, and his mom brought in brownies for the whole class. A week later, Alright, all classes, please report to the all-purpose room for an assembly. Not again! Yelled Mr. Grant. Every time he tries to teach us math, we get called to an assembly. We have to walk 1,100,000 miles to the all-purpose room, which is a dumb name because you can't go scuba diving in there. Oh yeah, then it's not all-purposed. You can't do everything. No room is an all-purpose room because you can't go scuba diving, and you can't undo all the stuff, and you can't walk in zero gravity. Now the new kid was line leader. Alexia was the door holder. When we got to the all-purpose room, sit between Andrea and Emily. Ugh. Andrew's elbow touched my elbow for a second, and I thought I was gonna die. I'm gonna die! Our principal, Mr. Klutz, waiting for us on stage. He had no hair at all. I mean, none! I bet his head slips off the pillow when he's trying to sleep at night. I got the results from the test you took last week. I hope you did well. Emily was to Andrea. And I got all the answers right. I looked them up in my encyclopedia. I got our school did horribly. Bam! 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 What? Everyone gasped. Elementary school. We got the worst school in the whole country. Then Mr. Klutz shaking his head sadly. I went to a meeting, and the principal of Marrow 4th grade school was laughing at me. Clearly you kids don't know basic history. But I hate to say this. But if we don't bring up our test schools, our school is gonna be closed. I jumped from my seat. Yay! No more school! 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 I figured everyone was gonna jump onto their seats and start chanting "No more school" with me. I looked around. No one else was standing. No one else was chanting. Everyone was looking at me. And that's awkward. Oh, I hate it when that happens. I sit back down in my seat. You probably got all the answers wrong, Arlo. And he said to me, I bet that's why your school did so poorly. Your face got the answers wrong. Although the answer's wrong, I whispered back at Andrea. That doesn't even make any sense, Arlo. Your face doesn't make any sense. Everyone was talking to Whisper. Miss Chubb told Miss Cups held up his hand and made a peace sign, which means shut up. I decided to bring a professor from the local college to help teach you students history. What? We don't want to learn history from some bullied college teacher! Someone yelled. Everyone is upset. Even some of the teachers. Oh, you're gonna like Dr. Nicholas. She's a world-famous historian who's traveled everywhere and written many books about history. She's even on Oraf. Everyone gasped and said, wow. Which is Mom upside down. Oh yeah, well, is Mom upside down? What was she doing on opera? What was she doing on opera? When I said opera, I meant opera. What was she doing on opera? I was quiet. She took it up opera. Opera could get hurt. Is opera okay? Who's opera? I asked. Dr. Nick will be coming into your classroom to teach you basic history that everyone should know, said Mr. Club. Then a week from today, you'll get a chance to take that test over again. And I think with the help of Dr. Nicholas, you're going to score much higher, and they'll be able to laugh at those other principals. That'll be icing on the cake. More cake. Why is everyone talking about cake? No. Gus said with a sweep of his arm. I'd like to introduce Dr. Nicholas! Dr. Nicholas came out on stage. She looked really old. She had white hair tied up in a bun in the back. What's up with that? Buns are for putting your burger on, not for putting it on the back of your head. I could have run around the block in the time it took her to get to the middle of the stage. Whoa, that lady is old. Mr. Talker's. She's even older than Mr. Talker. Mr. Talker is our science teacher. I thought he was old. But Dr. Nicholas looks old enough to be Mr. Talker's mother. Must learn a lot about history, because she's about 1,100,000 years old. Whispered Nick. Yeah, she probably lived through most of it. Mr. Klutz told us to give Mr. Nicholas a round of applause, so we clapped our hands in circles. Does anyone have any questions to ask Dr. Nicholas? Said Mr. Klutz. Yeah, how old are you? That's not a nice person to ask. That's not a nice question to ask a person, AJ, said Mr. Klutz. I don't mind, said Dr. Nicholas. I'm 92 years old and proud of it. How old are you, young man? I'm 8 years old. I'm 8 years old. And I'm turning 9 soon. 8? When I was your age, I was 9. I don't get it. Everyone laughed even though she didn't say anything funny. Yeah, I really don't. Have you met Abraham Lincoln? Asked Alexia. No. But years ago, I drove one of his convertibles. Were you alive when there were dinosaurs? Asked Michael. Oh, yes. Dr. Nicholas. In fact, I used to ride a dinosaur at school. Pretty sure that Dr. Nicholas was yanking our chain. Everyone knows there were no schools in dinosaur times. It would be hard to ride a dinosaur. They didn't even have saddles made for them. Dr. Nicholas was tried to ride the dinosaurs bareback. But maybe she was telling the truth, because old people don't usually make jokes. That's the first rule of being old. My dad told me that when he was a kid, they didn't have video games or microwave ovens or fruit roll-ups. Ren said, What was it like when you were a kid? Ah, the good old days, said Dr. Nicholas. When I was your age, we didn't even have TV. What? Everyone gasped. No TV. I would die without TV. The only good thing about having no TV is that they couldn't have TV turn off week. TV turn off week would last forever. TV turn off week would actually last forever because there is no TV! The good old days sound like the bad old days to me. If I looked back then, I would sit around saying, I wish someone would hurry up and invent TV already because I'm bored. You wouldn't even be saying that because nobody would know what you're talking about. They would want you to invent it. The good old days sound like the bad old days to me. Me too. What did you say, old day? Asked Neil the new kid. What did you do for fun? We went out to play, replied Dr. Nicholas. What? There was a buzz in the all-purpose room. Everyone was talking to each other. You mean in the outdoors? Asked Andrea. Yes, everyone gasped again. Everybody gasped again. Did you get sunburned? Asked Andrea. Did your clothes get dirty? Asked Emily. How about the bugs? Asked Andrea. Wasn't it dangerous? Were you afraid of getting hit by a car? Asked Neil the new kid. No, she was afraid of getting hit by a dinosaur. It was a wonderful time, said Dr. Nicholas. My friends and I used to play hopscotch, marbles, and hide and go seek. My favorite thing to do was jump rope. Oh, Ryan said. My sister has an app called Jump Rope Simulator on her iPad. It's awesome. Dr. Nicholas, were you on your school jump rope team? Oh, we didn't have a team. We just jumped rope for the fun of it out in the streets. You played in the streets. Sometimes I play in the streets. No, I knew she was angry too. You have to be crazy to play in the streets. No, I knew she was thinking her team. Be crazy to play in the street. I bet she made up ragged dinosaurs in Abraham Lincoln's convertible. My friends and I would jump rope anywhere. Took Nicholas to the. In fact, I feel like jumping rope right now. That's when the realest thing in the history of the world happened. Dr. Nicholas pulled the rope out of her pocket, then she swung it over her head and started jumping with it. Dr. Nicholas is ridiculous. Oh, she's jumping rope. Chapter 5, our first history lesson. After lunch, Dr. Nicholas came into our classroom. Clear off your desks, said Mr. Grant. Time for our first history lesson. Listen with Dr. Nicholas. Yay! Shouted all the girls. Shouted all the boys. Ugh, I hate history. History is dumb. Why do you have to learn about stuff that already happened? Who cares about the dude that died 1,100,000 years ago? Mr. Granite will be back in half an hour. He went to the teacher's lounge, which is a secret room near the front office where no kids are allowed. My friend Billy, who lives around the corner, told me that teachers go to the teacher's lounge to relax in the big hot tubs, while servants in bathing suits and raves. Dr. Nicholas picked up a marker and wrote, "History is fun" on the whiteboard. Today, we're going to learn about the history of the toilet bowl. What? Toilet bowls have a history? Asked Ryan. Of course, said Dr. Nicholas. Everything has a history. Toilet bowls were disgusting, said Emily, wrinkling up her nose. I thought history was about wars, said Andrea, and the great men and women who changed the world. History's about everything that came before us and made the world what it is today. Have you ever heard of the story of Tom Crapper? Evan laughed because Dr. Nicholas said the word crapper. My mom said that's a bad word. I should never say it anyway. Yeah, it is. It's finally used in the kids' book. Wait a minute, Neil said, jumping out of his seat. Are you gonna tell us the guy who invented the toilet bowl was named Crapper? No, said Nick. Simple toilet bowls have been around for many centuries. The first toilet was invented back in 1596 by a man called John Harrington. So the toilet bowl was invented by a guy named John. That makes sense. Because some people say toilets are the Johns. John's in the John. What did Tom Crapper do then? Everyone laughed because Michael said the word crapper again. It's impossible to say the word crapper without laughing. No, it's not. Crapper. I didn't laugh. That's the first rule of being a kid. There's no rule of being a kid. Tom Crapper was born in 1936 England. His father was a steamboat captain. When Tom was 14, he went to work as a plumber in London. But when he was 25, he owned his own plumbing shop. Back then, in those days, people didn't even talk about toilets. Why would you talk about a toilet? Only very rich people owned it. What did everyone else use? Often they'd get a hole in the ground, said Dr. Nicholas. Gross! Everybody shouted. I'm glad I don't have to go to the toilet in the hole in the ground. During 1880, Tom Crapper influenced on the flushing toilet bowl, said Dr. Nicholas. He also opened a shop and sold toilet bowls to the public. For the first time, regular people could go to the store and buy a toilet bowl. And the rest is indoor plumbing history. I dare you to stand up right now, wherever you are, and say, "Hooray for indoor plumbing!" Okay. Hooray for indoor plumbing! Wow! We all said, which Mum will sit down. We have toilet bowls in our own homes, said Dr. Nicholas. And we are also Tom Crapper. Hooray for Tom Crapper! Crapper, crapper, crapper! I figured everybody was going to jump up from their seats and start chanting Crapper with me. I looked around. No one else was standing. No one else was chanting. Everybody was looking at me. I hate that one. When that happens, I sat back down in my seat. I still say toilet bowls are disgusting, said Emily. You know, it's even more disgusting than toilet bowls. What? We all asked. No toilet bowls! We're probably still using a hole in the ground, said Neil, the new kid. Tucked in because told lots more cool stuff about the history of toilets and toilet bowls. The girls were grossed up, but the boys thought it was hilarious. It's about anything to do with toilet bowls is hilarious. That's when the door opened. Mr. Granite came in and came back in. I couldn't believe half hour had gone back so fast. I guess our history lesson is over, said Dr. Nicholas. Yay! Shouted all the girls. Shouted all the boys. We want to learn about the history of toilet bowls. Yeah, toilet bowls are cool. Who invented toilet paper? Said Dr. Nicholas. Dr. Nicholas? Asked Neil, the new kid. We can discuss that another time, she said, as she left the room. Mr. Grant told us to open our math books, but I couldn't stop thinking about Tom Cracker and his toilet bowl. That's when I came up with the funniest joke in the history of the world. Do you know Thomas Crapper used to draw his first toilet bowl? A number 2 pencil. Poo-poo pencil. Get it. No wonder I'm in the gifted and talented program. I should get the Nobel Prize for that one. That's a prize to give out to people who don't have bells. Weird. No, it's not. My name is AJ and I love history. History is cool. I didn't know you could learn the history of the toilet bowl and stuff. The next day, after we finished pledging the allegiance, Dr. Nicholas came into our classroom again. It's time for another history classroom. Yay! Shouted all the boys. Boo! Shouted all the girls. Mr. came to the teacher's lounge and said he'd be back in half an hour. What are we going to learn about today? Asked Dr. Nicholas. The history of the urinal? Can we learn about the history of snot? I've always wondered where it came from. It comes from your nose, dumbhead, said Neil, the new kid. Oh, snap, said Ryan. Most teachers about the history of farting? I bet that's really interesting. He also suggested that Dr. Nicholas teaches about the history of flapping, maggots, snakes, and bath. Well, for most of those, you'd find out in a biology lesson. So, you boys are gross, said Andrea. I don't think I like history anymore. Me neither, said Emily. Always agrees with everything said. That's too bad, because today we're gonna learn the history of Barbie!